Hey there everybody, this is Magnanimo and we're back with part 2 of the Fallout 4 Sanctuary Settlement build. Thank you guys for joining me. This is the rest of Marcy and June Long's house here. If you haven't seen part 1, I recommend that you go and check out my channel and you can see part 1 as well. You'll notice that each house that I have in this settlement has specific details according to each character, named character anyways, within Fallout 4. So Preston, you see him there. He has his own house, and we'll get to that in a second. This room right here is specifically for Marcy Long. If you can tell, it kind of looks like a house maybe for a woman. It's kind of got a little attitude, as she does. And the room that we come out of was for her, I would say, bum brother or someone who's just a little down on their luck. That just doesn't really care what the room looks like. That was the idea anyways. And if you go back into part 1, you can see the other houses like Sturgis or Mama Murphy. Now I had some recording issues while I was playing and walking through this tour here. I had some issues with the audio, so this is actually, I'm just coming back and commentating on top of what we already recorded. So we're about done here with this house here. And we're about to come over here. I believe we're going to the shop next. And originally this shop had an office on top of the shop here. Oh, I forgot we were going over here to their side area first. This is their little hangout area next to the marketplace, where Marcy and June have their little friends over and play board games and drink their beer and watch a little tube TV, which just tells them to please wait, for eternity. I noticed here I put the wrong couch in on the couch there. And you'll notice too, especially in part 1, you'll have floating clocks and pots stirring themselves and stuff. And a funny thing is, I walked through this settlement right before I started recording, and everything was just absolutely perfect. I start recording, and then all of a sudden, it's like a ghost went through and just made everything just haywire. It's pretty funny. This here shop, it had an office on top of the shop, and the whole idea of the office was this was going to be Sturgis's shop where he worked, and he was going to have his own little office with a little waiting area and stuff. And the idea was for people in the Commonwealth could come and get their things repaired at this central location. But since I had so much decorations and detail inside this building and some other buildings, I was having a huge frame rate drop, and so I ended up having to cut out some things here in this settlement. And one of the things that I cut was the upstairs to this shop area. There's still a lot of detail in here, I believe, and it still looks really awesome. But now it's just really just the bottom floor here with just a little shop area for your power armor, your weaponsmith bench, and your armorsmith bench as well. I try to throw up posters on the wall to make it feel like a shop would. You'll see all your little lady posters on the wall there. I really had a good time in building this settlement. It was very enjoyable. It took forever to get to the point to where I felt comfortable making a recording to show off to anyone really, or to you guys that are watching. That's my Vault-Tec paint power armor. And if there's anything that you guys want to see from this channel, feel free to just throw it in the comments, or if there's any feedback I can get from you guys, just feel free to add it in there. And I'll do my best to implement it for the future videos. I do have one settlement after this one that's already completed and pretty much ready to be filmed and put up and uploaded. After that one's Ten Pines Bluff. When we get done there, we'll be moving over to Starlight, which I've got some really cool ideas there. It's already about 60% done, and it's pretty detailed so far. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. Here we have the marketplace, a little bar area and clinic over here as well. I believe first we go to the back side of the little tiki bar area, and this back side is kind of where the cook is going to kind of hang out over here in his chair. He's got him a little table, as well as a little cooking station and a little table next to it to prepare food. And a few benches behind him for just people that just need to relax. This whole place is lit with lanterns and fire barrels, so it's kind of cool at night. This little area's got its own little specific look. And you can see over here, this is where we have our shops. You can see behind each shop is a lot of detail. I try to give everyone, each merchandiser or a retailer, whatever you want to call them, their own little section to sit in and their own little props back there. Their own little containers to make it as lore friendly and realistic as I could. Posters on the wall to give some textured tables for other merchandise that they're selling. I even try to find specific settlers to work each shop that kind of fit that particular store. Our general trader there, and this is our little clothing store. Funny thing is, I had a mannequin behind this clothing store, and I come to this settlement one day, and that mannequin's head was literally floating off of the body. The arm was floating off of the body. I have no clue what happened. Mannequin ended up getting scrapped. Needless to say, Fallout 4 has definitely got some special types of physics. I think Bethesda plays by its own rules, it seems. And that's the shops there. A little quick walkthrough on down so you can just see all of the extra little detail that we put in there. That's the little sitting area for the little tiki bar or outside bar, whatever you want to call it. No one's here right now, but it's really neat at night. I don't know if I got a shot of it or not. I don't think I did, but between a particular time when everyone gets off of work, literally the entire settlement will come here and hang out right next to this bar. It's pretty neat to see. And that little mat right there is a bartender shop. That's where the guy will stand. Kind of like how the other shops have someone behind it. That mat works the same way, and that is a mod that I got there for that. Try to put everything that I could think of that a little outside bar would need. Little cigarette machine and the whole 9 yards there. Right here in the little center circle of town. And there's our little cafeteria, or not a cafeteria, but little tables and stuff to sit on the outside. And this is where we have our clinic. And here on the side where the store is, this is where you would buy your stim packs and stuff. And I'm sure you guys know when you need to get healed or anything, you come to the clinic and then you tell her, hey, I'm sick, or I need healing, or I need radiation taken away, and then she just flicks her stim pack and you disappear off into nothing. Well, I didn't really like the immersiveness of that. It kind of just lost me. So in my own little mind here, I created this extra side building. So when you fade off into the blackness of nothing, in my mind, I'm going to pretend that she's going to take you into this room here, and then inside this room, you got your little waiting area for anyone else that's in line. You got your camera so she can take a picture of you, so she can file it over there in the filing cabinets for her medical records. Your clipboard, even an area for her to sit in when she's not running the shop and she's over here booking people in with her camera. And then after she books you in, she brings you over here to her surgery room where she can give you your checkup or fix your broken arm or whatever the case may be. You can just see I try to make it as much of a little Fallout 4 clinic as possible. You know, busted up walls, yet all of the amenities that you would need. I see my sign there is floating off the wall. It's still floating a little bit, but it'll just have to do for now. And there's this chair behind us. You see it over there in the corner. That chair, you can actually sit in that chair. When you're in that chair, you can change the way that your person looks. So, like, you know, your facial structure and body type, body build. I think you can even change your sex, which I guess is fairly normal nowadays. This here is going to be the watchtower for the backside here, where you can look over the marketplace, and you can see the backside of the settlement. I know that the super mutants will spawn over here when they attack you, but I'm not sure where over here they spawn. I haven't actually been attacked by super mutants yet, but they're going to be over there somewhere. So we put up a guard tower to maybe take some pop shots at them before they make their way to the front gate, where we can just utterly destroy them. Just to say it nicely. Alright, next it looks like we're going to go over here into Preston's house. Preston kind of has the house that overlooks right next to the marketplace. It's the center of town, and in the back window you can kind of overlook the playground, and you can all see all the way to the entrance as well. Now you'll see these picture frames with this pink here, or it kind of looks purple for me, but when I'm in the game it looks pink. I'm not sure what it's going to look like for you guys. Either way, those picture frames with that color there, that's happening because my graphics card is rendering so much detail from all of these different props and things that are laid around that it just is refusing to render that particular image. And thus that's why some of the earlier houses that we had went into didn't have as much detail or props around them. So instead of adding detail to those places, I only gave the houses that were dedicated to a particular person. Like this one's Preston. Those houses got props. And Preston being kind of like the right-hand man to the general, I decided that he would, get a little more than, say, someone like Sturgis. And you'll see, too, that his things are a little nicer as well. Now, what does suck is I use these curtains in every single house, pretty much this entire settlement. It wasn't until later that I got a mod that added more curtains to the game, and that's when actually I built the stores and the bar and stuff. And so you see some of those fancier curtains over there that I was unable to implement here in the houses because I'd already built them, and I didn't take the time to come back and fix that there. And this is Preston's little work area, his little office with his little alcohol, where he can radio the castle and communicate with me wherever I'm at on the ham radio. And this is his bedroom here. And you can see it's quite dark outside, so I know in a minute I end up changing that back to daylight so we can finish the rest of the build here. I think I'm just showing off how crooked that wall is still. You can see you can overlook that playground there, which we end up doing a walkthrough of the playground here in a bit. Not that there's any kids in this settlement, but I guess for us big kids, when we want to go have a little fun, there's some monkey bars for us. We can always pretend that we're making babies and there's babies here. Alright, and so I made it daylight. I believe I slept and made it daylight. I don't know if I did a console command or not, but you see that pack Brahmin run across the bridge over there, 90 miles an hour. And so that's Preston's house there. And next I believe we're going to walk over here to the utility shed / generator room. And I know in part one I tell you guys about a few YouTubers where I've got some of their ideas from. In this particular area, you're going to see an idea that I got from House of Klaus. He had this brilliant video out explaining how you can get more power in a single floor section, full floor section, by using small generators than you could if you used a large generator. And so you'll see over here to our right that I have basically small generators packed in on the bottom floor. It should be 6 on the bottom floor, a floor above them, and then 6 more generators on top. So that's 12 small generators in the space that you would only have one large generator. And so per square foot, you're getting more power output than you would if you used large generators. And this utility shed actually had more detail as well. I'm actually come in here and I gutted some of the detail out of it and actually removed a shelf, trying to just save some resources on the graphics card. Even try to put up some signs there for restricted access and no smoking, because we don't want you to blow up. Well, all right, here. Let's see what we're going to go to next. I'm not sure why I paused so long. I guess I was probably explaining the power generators here now and how they all work. Again, I lost all of that audio, so we have to come back and commentate over the top of that. So you can just take a moment and gaze at that, and you can see you can really get a lot of power from the small generators compared to the large generators in a smaller space. So if space is not on your side, that's something you can always do. You can just see that back area is blocked off, and actually if you can see to our right there, you can see the supports hanging off for the marketplace so that everything appears to be supported. And this here is our farm. This settlement can produce a little over 50 food if I have the entire farm being worked. The entire farm is not always worked. I think right now we're getting about 36 food or so, as we have other jobs for people to do as well, from the marketplace to the artillery over there. It was very interesting placing these fences down, as everything will snap together, but everything stays horizontal, and like it would work perfectly on flat ground. But since everything's on a hill, we can't really create fences or anything on a hill. So that all took console commands of lowering it down and setting the angle properly so that the fence matched the hill itself. And that was not fun. It took quite some time to build this fence here. Probably one of the longest things of the entire settlement itself. Now you can see that tower over there. We're going to go there in a minute. That tower actually come from the idea that I got from the YouTuber No Respawn. And you'll see that it's really just an awesome idea. I don't know if he come up with it or if he got it from somewhere else, but that is where I found it. And it was just such an awesome idea. I actually end up using it here at this settlement, and I use one very similar to that idea over at Ten Pines Bluff. I kind of tweaked his idea a little bit to kind of match the area that I had to work with, but overall it looks really, really cool. I find it to be very lore friendly to the Fallout 4 universe. It just really matches right on up. You can see everything is supported. In a neat little pathway. And I wanted to add railings to the ladder there, but I never came back to set the angle and everything, which was another pain in the butt, so I just ended up leaving it like it is. You can see here we have, I believe that's some kind of a broadside. Well, it's not a broadsider, but that turret there shoots some kind of missiles of some sort. So when the super mutants, if they ever attack, come around this side here, they're going to have a hard time even getting to the front gate. this here is a watchtower. That mat that I'm standing on is where we'll have a lady. Usually it's a lady that comes over here and stands. She's almost always here, but she wasn't here at this particular time. I believe later in the video we will see her. You can get a clear shot across the river here and almost all the way to the Red Rocket. You can see our little water farm. And our little sitting area with their little ammo boxes there in that too. Another view of that farm that we have. So here we grow razor grain, mut fruit, taters or potatoes or whatever they call them on here. I can't remember if I said corn, and some green beans or split beans or whatever they call them in the game. You can see here we have a little trap, and someone's obviously already set it off, so we're going to reset it here. But when someone walks over this little laser wire here, they should turn into a little flaming ball of fire, and then we have a shotgun on the other side as well. So it should be pretty interesting if they try to use this little gate here. I thought to block it off, but I mean, realistically, if this was a real settlement and one of the water purifiers had an issue, you would need kind of like a maintenance access to that area, and so that's kind of the idea there. Just as a maintenance access to get down to the power armor, yet you're still protected. Even with a guard that usually stands here. You saw the big fella here just walk on down. And another little laser turret there. And our artillery next to it. And you can see down the side here we have a spotlight tucked down there. And we have another turret and another spotlight on the back side of this building. And this building here kind of morphed from, started off kind of like as a break room or break area. It was supposed to have like a refrigerator and lockers and things, but it kind of turned into just a hangout area for the various people. No one ever uses it. Here we have the little Brahmin feeders with the Brahmin hanging over the side of the fence over there. And I believe we're going to go check out the inside of this building next to the artillery. Or we're going to do the artillery first. You can see both of these guys have Minutemen outfits. I put that on them because I figured if they're going to be working the artillery, then they have to be, a Minutemen official. We can't just have anyone, manning the artillery. They have to be trained personnel. And then we're going to see here, you can just see it's just kind of a little sitting area with some tables. And this area it had props as well, but they all got yanked out too for performance issues. Just trying to prevent the game from crashing so much and having so many of those, picture frames and posters from having all them pink frames, everywhere. Now I know what you're probably thinking. If one of those artilleries went off, them supports probably are not strong enough to withstand that. But I went for it anyways, as it kind of matched the building. So it was kind of a cosmetic decision rather than a sound, realistic decision. Here you can see the little playground area that we have here for when there's kids, as we're planning for the future, as we're planning to build a resort or a place where people can actually build a life. We have an area over here for the family to sit, seesaws, and I don't even know what you call the little monkey bar ball thing. You can see there's an access over here to the front and to the church as well. There I'm pointing at the exhaust fan on the church, and on the inside in the exact same spot is another fan, so it's kind of like airflow comes straight through. Water fountain for our little park here, even a turret to keep everyone safe. And then this is the sitting area, with some of the benches look like they are floating, and I meant to come back and fix that, but looking in hindsight, it's a lot of detail to make sure it's correct, and it's easy to overlook some things. I try to use these white picket fences as much as I could to kind of maintain that little neighborhood look that they kind of give off. And this is where the Brahmin are supposed to be, but apparently this guy wants to hang out on the opposite side of the fence and glitch through. But I guess that works. He can get to his feeder tearing up my fence there. And if any of the Brahma get out of line, we do have a turret right there. And another spotlight. Turret looking out over. And then another little fence and an area to the front gate here. And while recording this, my frame rate actually dropped down to about 15 to 18 frames per second, which is pretty low. But overall, I mean, it does all right. You know, I can play in the settlement. You know, just play the game, and I can run it at 1080p, ultra settings, and it performs just fine. But if I start to build in the game, I usually have to turn the settings down, or I'll get a very frequent crashing a lot. Here we have a little back patio, and I could add like a little personal garden there as well. That kind of came back to resources kind of thing. I kind of felt like I was reaching the limit of what my hardware could put out. And maybe I could have abused it more and got more detail in the settlement, but I'm pretty satisfied with the amount of detail that was here. Trash can Carl likes to stand right there in the middle of the street. Guess it's easy to always find her. And here we are at night. So you can see the settlement all lit up. And this is when the frame rate really dips when you're in game. If you get attacked and it's nighttime, it's horrendous at how horrible the frame rate is. But it's just a quick walkthrough here of everything of the settlement. I'm all lit up and beautiful. Everyone's got their own little personal street light going to their front door. And there's Sturgis. Hey there, Sturgis. How are you doing, buddy? And again, guys, if there's any feedback or anything you want to see from this channel, feel free to ask. I'll do what I can to change what I need to change or add to what I need to add to. You can see the look of the whole town's lit up with those lights, and then you get over here to the marketplace and it's just those lanterns and those fire pits and stuff. It looks real cool. There you can see we had a little basketball area for recreational use. And these shops to me look really awesome at night. I really just love this whole little area here. Well, we need to put a little lantern over there by the clinic. I think I actually ended up waiting a little too long, so not everyone's over there hanging out. They're kind of, I believe a bunch of them over here in the park, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, here they are, just randomly. I guess they all wanted to play on the seesaw. And the swings. I guess they had enough to drink and now they're just wandering around all randomly. And you can see we even have little working spotlights out here in the farm. So if it's harvesting season and they got to work late, then they have no excuse. Just got to get to work, get it done. Survival is what we're working for. And here we go with the lady I was talking about earlier. She pretty much is always here until I build a few other guard posts, and then now she kind of makes a round. I'm not sure what other guard post she runs off to, but she's usually here. Well, that ends up being pretty much the settlement, guys. I thank you for joining me. Thanks for watching, if you're watching at all. And I appreciate it. And in the next build, we will be doing Ten Pines Bluff. In the meantime, be magnanimous. And I'll see you next time.